Okay, welcome back to week 7, Americana, Cultural Phenomena in Contemporary American Society. So today we're going to be talking about the 1970s, and this is from the peopleshistory.com. So what happened in 1970? Some key events, technology, and popular culture. So, just as a financial reference, what did things cost back then? So, a new house would have been about $25,000. So, if you add another zero to that, today, the average cost of a new house in America is about $250,000. So the average income per year is a little under $10,000. And rent, if you wanted to rent an apartment, it would be about $140. And an average cost of a very inexpensive new American car would be a little under $2,000. But we're going to talk about a car called the Blackhawk. And it's an American ultra luxury car manufactured from 1971 to the mid 80s. And the first Blackhawk was purchased by Elvis Presley in 1970 for about $26,000. So that was big money back then. But as we can see through the 70s, American car manufacturing has new competition, and that comes from Japan. And it has to do with oil, the price of gas, quality of car, and so forth. So that's a little bit, a little further into it. This is from carthrottle.com. And the article goes on to say that the 70s were arguably the biggest transitional period for American car culture. Muscle cars, so cars with big engines and drinks a lot of gas but goes really fast, nearly went extinct, and there was a surge of foreign cars into the country. The first major blow to American cars was the oil embargo of 1973. And we're going to talk about the effects of that a little later. After months of fuel shortages and high gas prices, it woke Americans up to how much fuel they were using. From that point on, fuel efficiency would become more and more important to car buyers over the years. The next big hit was emissions laws, which made car manufacturers strap emission equipment to their vehicles, and that reduced horsepower. Foreign car makers took advantage of this sad situation to sell more of their cars to the American public, especially from Japan. At the beginning of the 70s, Honda, Datsun, and Toyota were just starting to sell significant numbers of cars to the U.S., but that continued on for many years, including up to today. So, one of the big new inventions in cars was something called the track stereo player. And to buy a new one back then was about a little under $40. So this was the new edition for music in the car. And we'll move on to our next slide from here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the beginning of Starbucks. And we did talk about this earlier, but we'll take it from a different point of view in this slide. This is from Corin Necrates, WordPress.com. And it's written by an employee of the Starbucks company. Now, when you are an employee of Starbucks behind the counter, you are called a barista. And a barista is someone who is knowledgeable all things coffee. So this author, no name given, has been a barista at Starbucks for 6 years. And she goes on to say, "Welcome to Starbucks. I've been a barista at Starbucks for 6 years. Since I work for a pop culture icon, I am able to see several examples of pop culture every day. Here are a few. Advertising. What do you think of when you hear the word Starbucks? Most likely you would think of the white paper cup with the pretty green mermaid on the side. This lovely lady is called a siren. She has been charged over the years and changed, but she has become the international symbol of Starbucks. This advertising is spread whenever someone takes their latte to the office, carries a frappuccino to school, or Instagrams their beautiful triple tall vanilla, non-fat, no foam, 180-degree mocha. The Starbucks siren is widespread advertising that has made Starbucks Coffee Company millions of dollars. And it's true, you see these cups everywhere, from the office to the boardroom to the classroom. Technology. Within the past few years, my job as a barista has changed because of current technology regarding Starbucks cards. So initially, they gave you something that looked like a credit card, like you had so much money in it and you would pay your coffee using their in-house credit card system. There are customers that still pay with physical Starbucks cards, but the newest smartphone apps allow customers to simply let the barista scan their phone to pay for their order. And this is at least 5 years old now. This is just one example of how Starbucks has been able to adapt and change with current trends and culture to stay relevant. Using an app instead of a card is trendy. It's happening now, and it's really fun too. And it's really convenient. Social behavior. Starbucks has played a key role in changing pop culture in the past 20 years by actually changing how we meet and spend time with one another. Starbucks has made it cool to meet for coffee. Starbucks is the trendy place to spend your time studying. My Starbucks store has a conference room. So Starbucks is now the fun place to hold your business meeting. And I have to admit, I love being part of those awkward first dates that I see all the time. Starbucks is first date central, and that is so true. These things may seem small after all. It's just a logo and an app and a cup of coffee. However, Starbucks is a global company with more than 100,000 stores, thousands of faithful employees, and millions of loyal customers. Though its effect on advertising, technology, food, music, social behavior, and economics, Starbucks is changing pop culture. Okay, so that's a little bit on Starbucks.